Hi, everybody. I'd like to do a quick overview of homework problem number 1, part A. This is something I would like for you to do. You can see it here on the screen here by Wednesday. So we're going to come into class. I want this completed on your end. So get it done by Tuesday, end of day, okay? Meaning submit it in the homework software. And I'll flip to that right now so you can see where I'm talking about. So what I've done here is I've logged into Wiley, the software. I've gone to the chapter 1 homework, and this is homework problem number 1 in the Wiley software. And we're dealing here with a small business owner named Natalie. Natalie is just starting out, and our work as accounting students is going to be to help her start her small business. She has a business making cookies. Okay, now that might sound, how does someone make a business out of cookies? What I want you to envision here is Natalie wants to be someone like Mrs. Fields or Famous Amos, okay? These are 2 examples of companies that are very large. You've probably, I assume, come into contact perhaps with one of these companies as a consumer, either buying Famous Amos, the small kind of packages of cookies you can purchase in the deli, or Pete's Cafe. Mrs. Fields is located often in like malls, sort of a small storefront where they do their baking on site, and then you can kind of pick a cookie from the display case. So that is an example of of the type of business that Natalie wants to grow into. Now, she is just starting out. So our work as accounting students is going to be to think through some of the questions and some of the nuance that she needs to do as a small business owner just starting out. And the first question is, what form of business organization does Natalie need to take for her business? I'm going to let you read kind of the upfront facts about Natalie. And that's going to be important. Because you want to know, is Natalie want to go into business on her own? Does she have a partner who she wants to go into business with? Does she want to where does she want to get her money from in terms of financing and investing in the business and that kind of thing? For now, read this, and then what I'm going to do is I want to focus on this question, because this is what I want you to answer by the time you come into class on Wednesday. We've got 3 different business organizations that she can take for her business called Cookie Creations, okay? She can form a proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. Now, you might have heard these terms sort of, in the context of prior classes, maybe in reading books or news articles. What we want to do here is understand it within the context of this course and within the context of what are called generally accepted accounting principles. Generally accepted accounting principles, also referred to as GAAP, are, for lack of a better term, the rules of accounting. And we're going to be learning a lot about GAAP and as part of this course. One of the key rules or assumptions, an upfront sort of idea here, is that Natalie has to form her own business separate from herself. This is called the economic entity assumption. Kind of a loaded term, and what this basically means is to have a business, the business has to be its own separate entity. And think of it like this. Natalie has her own bank account where she might pay her own personal rent, payments for her car, payments for her personal groceries. Okay, that's her own bank account. The idea of the economic entity assumption is that her business needs to be separate from herself as a person, meaning her business needs its own bank account. Her business needs its own set of books and records where she can track the money going into the business and out of the business. And that makes sense, right, on its front. We don't want to mingle the money of Natalie the person and then Natalie's business. Now, the next step is, okay, if her own business is going to be its own separate standalone entity, is it going to be a proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation? Each of these forms of business have pros and cons, and the question for you all is, what should Natalie use? Should she be a proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation? Let me just talk through a little bit on the screen here of what you're looking at. Proprietorship is, and partnership and corporation each we can think through the pros and cons based on various criteria. The criteria are kind of listed here. So let's just look at one simple view, number of owners. So a proprietorship, you can open and have only one owner. You don't need to have any, more than one owner. But let's say that Natalie did want to have a partner in her business, then she would look at a partnership. If she wanted to sell stock, then she would want to have a corporation. I want you to read through this slide, think through, and some of this we're going to talk about in class. What is the best form of organization for Natalie to take? I want you to also look in your book, because there's also references to form of business form there. Take a crack at this, write out your response, and then we'll discuss it on Wednesday. Thanks.